Hi, welcome to Intersolar 2011. We have here Ben Compton, the Chief Operating Officer of North American Operations of Meteocontrol. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you.
So tell us, what does Meteocontrol do?
Meteocontrol is best known as a monitoring company. We have about 3.3 gigawatts monitored in 22,000 systems, but we're branching into quality services throughout the lifetime of a project, a PV project.
But you do more than monitoring, right?
Yes, we do. So during the planning phase, we could do manufacturer's audits, technical due diligence. During the construction phase, construction supervision. During the operational phase, O&M, operations management, asset management, things like that.
And where are your main operations? Are they mostly in Europe, or have you been doing a lot of that in the U.S.?
Right now, the majority of the systems are located in Europe. We just launched in the U.S. about 6 months ago, so we're growing. As the market here grows, we expect to grow with it here and in Canada. So.
And talk about what do customers want when they go to Meteocontrol?
Right. Well, our goal is to have our customers have the highest quality systems installed so that they have optimized yield, which would maximize their ROI. So they want to make sure they're making money with their plants, and we want to help them have that through not guaranteeing yield, but optimizing yield through the quality of the selection of the components, the quality of the EPC firm that's selected, the installation practices, the O&M program they have going.
And so when they get, it's actually literally a report, right, talking about...
Right. We have a new product that would be a PV technical certification rating for the plant, so like a AAA, AA rating for the plant that wraps all of those services we provide up, that would inform then the financial risk model, and you could take that to the bank and potentially have a few more yield points given to the project or better financial terms. So,
what kind of data do you use to create that report?
To create the point, there are hundreds of points that we would look at. We would look at the component selection, the PV modules that were used, the inverter efficiency, the design of the plant. What the reputation of the EPC firm, what kind of quality control they have during the construction process, what kind of a comprehensive O&M program they would have during the operational lifetime of that plant. Are they going to get there within what kind of time frame? What's the warranty coverage on all those components? Everything like that you would look at, make a determination of the overall risk of that plant, and the goal is to have the highest rating possible, that you get the best terms from your financier when you're developing that project. And the rating system is something that's developed by Meteocontrol or something that's industry-wide? Yeah, right now we are developing it in-house, but some of the general criteria could be adopted by the industry.
And it sounds like a lot of data they use are public, is that right? The weather and efficiency
there is public weather data or radiance data for certain sites that are used to do yield reports, energy yield reports. There would be public PV module rating from the manufacturer. You'd have some tests done on that to verify that that was actually accurate. Inverter factory test data, things like that you would be looking at.
So what sets Meteocontrol apart from other similar firms?
I think our experience, we've been in the business for 30 years, and the size of our database, we have 3.3 gigawatts monitored. We use that data to keep informing through a feedback loop the energy yield reports we generate. And just the breadth of what we offer, we have that end-to-end one-stop shopping for developers, installers, financiers, to be the quality control point for them for their projects.
No, is it possible for a project developer or owner to hire you to do the yield report and then to also hire you to do the monitoring service? And if so, if the plant ends up not delivering the power that was forecast?
The owner or the developer could choose to a la carte any portion of our service, as little or as much as they want. So they could select just to have us be a bankable third-party energy yield report provider. They could just want to use our monitoring platform, one of our two platforms, for their operations management. And they could also hire us to do the O&M to respond to that failure if there was something that happened, an outage at the plant.
But there's no conflict of interest involved in doing the front end and the back end of
No,
the
I
whole
don't. No,
design.
there's no conflict. The data, the integrity of the data is there. That's confidential. It's owned by the customer.
So when I talk to module manufacturers, a lot of times they like to emphasize the importance of the LOC, the levelized cost of electricity, as opposed to the cost per watt. Could you talk about, are those both metrics important, taken into consideration, or is it more about
Well,
LOC?
I think when the incentives are based on a dollar per watt basis, that was the more important metric. Now that the prices per watt have come way down, but really what people are focusing on is the value of that electricity. So as the incentives became more performance-based incentives or feed-in tariffs, where with SRECs, every kilowatt hour has a value to it, so the long-term operation of the plant, the quality of that plant installation becomes much higher.
And the projects that you do work on, is there a particular size or range of sizes that you work
We work all the way from residential through small commercial up to large commercial, and we have some of the largest plants in the world monitored in Europe.
What's the size of some of the largest plants?
They're 50, 60 megawatt range, so we're up in that area now. So I think we run the gamut with various offerings. We have two separate portals. One is geared more Safer Sun portal is geared for the smaller user, the end user almost. Whereas the virtual control room, which is newer product, is more geared for megawatt and above projects or customers who have large portfolios of scores of projects. And
just want to clarify, we talk about residential or commercial systems, you're talking about companies that are installing. The installers would be the ones who actually hire you to do the monitoring, not the individual homeowners or business owners.
We work with partners. We have a partner program where they're set up. They would again during their installations be providing the portal as part of their service. They would have different levels of access for the end user, the homeowner, that may just see how their system's doing that day, whereas they, as the operator, the warranty holder, may have more the administrative function and more operational analysis tools for them.
And since you cover a wide range of systems, I want to ask you a question about microinverters, because it's been a lot of microinverter companies are now launching products, and some of the larger inverter companies would dismiss the technology as being very niche-y. What's your view on microinverters eventually scaling up for larger projects?
I was just talking with a firm today about incorporating some of our diagnostic and analytical tools. They do a good job of providing a view down into the module level, but maybe not for the whole system level. So working on APIs and ways of communicating and using some of our expertise on that system level analysis, helping them with that. So we're looking into that now.
But you're looking at, do you expect the microinverters to be able to serve, say, megawatt size?
I think if they can get the cost to the right point, maybe be embedded in the module, I think they could make some inroads there. We'll see as they get in larger and larger projects.
So the cost really is the stumbling block at this point?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. There may be also some concerns that if a microinverter fails, you might have to replace that inverter. So if some of your O&M costs may be higher, but again, if a single microinverter fails, you're not losing a whole string or combiner box or multiple combiner boxes worth of energy. You're just losing that one module's worth of energy. So the impact of that one outage is not as great as a central inverter going. But there are advantages for both systems, disadvantages. I think the project developer has to make that decision based on the specific characteristics of that project.
And in your business model, how do you make money? Is there like a set service charge per month?
Well, with the various offerings, there are. If we have a partner, for the portals, we have a quarterly fee that we charge based on a kilowatt or capacity based. If a non-partner has it, it's an upfront 5-year fee. For the other services, it's by report basis, by site visit. If we have construction supervision, that would be over the course of that project lifetime, over the course of the installation, how many times we'd be on site, what we'd be performing. For operations and maintenance, there would be, depending on the level of service required, if they want, 5-hour response versus 24-hour response versus, just to prevent a maintenance or cleaning plan, there would be different levels of fees.
And there's a lot of talk about how the utility scale market is going to grow faster in the U.S. Is that the segment that you're focusing on?
I think our sweet spot is the small to large commercial. The utility level, There's a lot of competition up there from the SCADA systems that are already existing. The utilities want to use the products they're familiar with, but there are opportunities to develop communications protocols to use our analytical tools that are familiar with that PV segment to communicate up into their SCADA systems to help them with that.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Okay.
Take care.